Hello, welcome back to Carmando's Garage. Today we have a Seat Leon MOT failure on rear shockers and rear pads. I'm going to take you through the process of changing them parts out today. So first thing we need to do is we're going to change the rear shock, so we're going to take the wheel arch liner out. For that you need a T25 on a screwdriver. And just take all these screws out. I've got quite a few. The board on this side. One more, I believe. And this wheel arch liner should pop out now. Or not, there's some more underneath. There's going to be so many screws in a bleeding wheel arch. Oh, one more hidden up there. And another one. There we go, one wheel arch liner. Now that gives us access to these top bolts up here, and then one more down on the bottom of the shock. We'll show you that when we get it undone. Where's my sockets? It's a 17mm socket for these top ones. Tell a lie, it's a 16. The whole arm will drop down with it, but it's quite easy to push back up. And on the bottom bolt is an 18mm 1/2 inch. Shock dust drops out. On this we need to take off this top bracket, because on the new shock absorbers you don't get that. For that we just take this top cover off, and there's a nut there that you undo. That's also a 16mm. For this, when you put the socket on, the whole shock absorber is spinning, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this tie wrap, pull this cover down, get a set of mole grips on the shock, and then we can undo that. So we're going to cut the tie wrap, pretty straightforward. Now this sleeve should come down, sometimes they need a bit of persuasion. There we go. So now we've got access to the shaft. For that I'm going to use my parrot nose mole grips. Clamp that in just like that, and we can undo this now. Tighten them up a bit. There we have the nut off, and then this whole unit just slides off. Make sure you keep the sponge because you don't get one of them with the new shock. Right, while we're waiting for the shock to be delivered from our supplier, we're going to get the rear brakes stripped down ready for the pads as well. So for that you're going to need a 13mm spanner and a 15mm spanner. Get your 15 on the inside here, and your 13 on the outside, and just crack them off. And then just wind the bolt out. Same again on this side. That was a bit tighter. Go. While we're doing this, Jimbo's going to take the brake cap off under the bonnet, so when we push the brake back, these are the wind back, and you do need a wind back tool for it, which we'll show you in a second. This one's quite tight. Now we've got them off, got to pop the brake caliper up, and as you can see in here, you've got 2 slots in the piston, and you need to get your brake caliper wind kit out and then pick the right. I think these might be a number 6. Yeah, that's a number 6, so get our tool. These can be quite awkward to wind back. Should always wind these clockwise going back. As you can see there, the piston's going back nicely now. It's quite tight. Don't worry about the dust shield, it will sort itself out. Let's get started on there, just wait a minute. As you can see, the piston's fully wound back. We'll just sort the dust shield out while we're there. There's that wire brush. While I've got the brake pads off, we're just going to clean up these surfaces, just make sure the new brake pads fit quite nicely. While we're here, we're also going to take the caliper sliders out, give these a clean and a re-grease. There you go, you can see we've covered it in copper grease, and now we'll just refit that. These are sliding, and then just make sure the dust cover's popped on. There's a little ridge that it sits on. Clean any excess grease off. That's all ready for the brake pads when they arrive. So now our new shock's turned up, so what we're going to do is refit it. So just get your top bracket, slide that on, get your nut. Tighten this down, you shouldn't need to hold it. There we go, that'll be tight enough. Get our dust cover. Slide that back up, we'll get a tie wrap to secure it. That's ready to fit back on the vehicle now. Right, so we need to put the top cap back on. clips in place. Get our bolts in up here nice and loose. That one felt a bit tight. There we go. The 16mm on the 1/2 inch again. Then we'll come round to the back here and get the back mounted. Most of these you can just lift up. This one was an 18mm. As you can see, that's all back in nice now. We're going to refit the brake pads now, and then we'll get the wheel arch liner back in. So we've got our new pads now. You're going to have to bear with me, I've lost my cameraman. They're the wrong ones. Just a little bit of copper grease on them for the sliders. Slot in. Our 13mm bolts back in the back. I'm going to get you 15mm and 13mm spanner. As you can see now, they're all bolted up. You don't have to go mad on these bolts, just nip them up, otherwise you'll snap them if you go too mad on them. So next we're going to get this wheel arch liner back in. I'm going to use our little impact gun, but I've turned it right down to number 1 so we don't snap any of them. Be a bit quicker getting these back in. These can be a bit fiddly to line back up once you've got quite a few bolts in. It's alright. Couple underneath. As you can see, you've got the wheel arch liner back in there. All we need to do now is refit the wheel and torque it up.